Stop it.
Yum.
Sarah's having a moment over a delicious cookie.
Man, oh man. It is a good thing that we pressed record, because if we didn't...
They're
the only thing keeping me from eating more is not wanting to subject you all to the sounds of my crunching.
Episode 378. So these I got at Costco on my trip recently.
Yeah.
You know how I'm anti-Costco?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've recently learned this.
Yes.
I didn't know you were anti.
Well, I just don't enjoy the trip, because there's all the carts and the people, and it's mayhem in there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about, fucking around and becoming a Costco mom.
Yeah, well, just for the cookies or what?
No, just all of their stuff. I'm like, oh.
I know those Kirkland pajamas.
Kirkland. If you can get past the other humans,
right,
it's amazing.
This is probably like all mom places, like where it's like, yeah, that's great, except all the people or whatever.
So
like
true.
Disneyland, same.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just not a people person, and they overwhelm me. I get anxious. But man, they have some great items and some deals, you guys.
Oh my God, you're such a Costco mom now. I will say I don't like a lot of hot dogs, but I do like the hot dog. Like, not the fancy one, the 99-cent,
Yes.
I love that hot dog.
For $1.50, you get a foot-long hot dog and a drink.
A wiener and a drink.
And one refill, even.
Oh, look at you are. Why you say you're anti? You're the poster girl for Costco now. What if Costco started selling plants?
Oh my God, they do sell flowers.
Oh, I did see that they had fiddle leaf trees for a minute.
Yes, they do. And they had a lot of Christmas trees and wreaths and stuff like that.
Okay, I need to come with you next time.
Let's go on a field trip, and then we'll we'll put it on Instagram.
Oh my gosh, it's great. And I feel like if I have, I've got an appropriately sized garage, I can get down for some stocking up on.
This is going to be great. We could even split stuff.
Oh my God, I love this idea. It's the best.
You guys.
They have really good salmon. This has just become an ad.
For Costco.
God.
On accident.
But I feel the same way about Target.
Well, yeah.
Good
That's
Lord,
just not
I
as
love
good
their
with the
stuff.
bargains.
Right.
Is the thing.
Except when you go, I went online and they were having a however many percentage off, all pajamas or all whatever. And I got some sweatpant combo that were $12 for each piece.
That's a really good deal.
And I love them. And I just bought a bunch of blank ones that I'm going to make into cute sweatshirts with my Cricut design maker for Christmas presents for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let me place an order.
Oh, yeah. Please.
I would like some sort of really soft vintage t-shirt style.
Got it. I'm writing
with
this down. Vintage
a Barbie logo.
Done. The words Barbie or the head?
The word.
The word. Oh,
I
can
like
totally
the
do that.
logo.
I got that. What color shirt would you like?
Pink.
Pink. Oh, duh. And would you like the writing in white or black?
Ooh. Whatever. You're better with the visual. You'll know what
Think about how you'd wear it.
Probably white.
White. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So white with pink.
This is really exciting.
Okay, great.
I'm so excited. This is
great
Give
because
it to me
I've got
for Christmas.
50% of your, because I have another Christmas present that I text Adam about a little bit ago to see, does she have this? And he said, and I think you're going to be very excited about
He's
this.
a very good secret keeper.
He is. I'm the worst, so it's great. Look, I've already told you.
The worst.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, you guys just got to hear basically just me and Sarah talking.
Yeah, that's great.
Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome to the show. Right.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about today? Today's a Sarah Day.
Yeah, and you know what? I felt like there was kind of the theme, and I don't know if it's things that, and even in our last episode, kind of what we were talking about, it's always these women issues and stuff that maybe we have to kind of push back on and question.
Yes.
And so my friend Courtney came over. Shout out to Courtney.
Who is this?
One of the girls from my cohort.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's the best. And
I'm all jealous.
Who is this? You'd actually love her and she'd love you, and that's probably why I kept you away because you're going to steal, and she lives closer to you. So I'm like, you guys will become best friends, and I'll be I don't know.
We'll lift you right out. You'll be like Phoebe.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had to take a sip of wine. So we were talking about, she had this, I don't know what got us starting on this conversation. Maybe we were talking about oversized sweatshirts. Oh yeah, she was wearing a real cute pair of pants, and I was like, oh, where'd you get those? And she was like, in the boys section at H&M. And I'm like, oh, I love that. And then we got into a conversation about how women like a lot of things that they call a boyfriend look.
Yes.
And then we were like, well, we gotta it launched us into a whole conversation about that term, boyfriend jeans.
Yes.
Now, boyfriend jeans are like a little baggier,
looser,
a little looser. And there's this idea we have like a boyfriend sweatshirt, boyfriend jeans, boyfriend watch is like the big oversized face. And she was like, some women can just like oversized things and that look, and that's fine. And why it needs to be this idea that like, oh, we're taking our boyfriend's item is kind of bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. And then we did the reverse of,
my God.
Right? That's it. That's where I was like, oh, now this is,
imagine?
we have to, I had to like pull over and write this down as a note to bring up on here.
Good one.
Because they call them skinny jeans. And would you ever call it a girlfriend jean?
You are so right.
No. And that's a problem.
This is great.
I know.
Yeah.
This is, I'm like,
I fucking love reframing stuff.
yes. And see, that's why shout out to Courtney, like again.
Courtney, you're killing it. See, call me. We should be friends.
I know.
Yes, this is so true. I mean, it speaks to, of course, the patriarchy and the way, and just really homophobia. Because men are so fucking scared that someone might think they're gay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, I'm too girly.
Could you imagine?
No!
Like, I really have a problem with and then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, God, like, because what if you, I mean, it's even weird. I know it's just a name and blah, 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 but it's what those little things do. And I put it in almost the same category as like calling it a wife beater.
Yeah.
No, it's a ribbed white tank. And what that does to us when we sort of say that all the time.
Yes.
This is like, these are my boyfriends. This is like, I've had to borrow his stuff, and that's what gives me this look.
Yes.
And then what if you are somebody who's not into dudes?
Yeah.
Then it's like, who also would love a pair of baggy jeans?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to like,
You're so right.
you know, but now they're called, it's like boyfriend jeans.
When you first launched into this, I thought, okay, I'm going to have to pretend like I'm on board because like I'm not getting worked up about boyfriend jeans. But then as soon as you flipped the script, I was like, oh, you are right.
Yeah. It made me do that because at first I was the same. I was like, oh, we just, and then when you say, what about girlfriend jeans? But we have girlfriend jeans. That's like another style of jean that we wear. Right. To say like this belongs to you and this belongs to you. That like we're not able to, there's like a whole style that's off limits to us unless we title it like, oh, it belonged to him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird to me.
I love the book Word Slut. It was one of our book club books. Mm-hmm. And it's talking about this idea of how sort of innocuous naming of things that doesn't really matter except when you go beyond just the surface. And when you see how systemic it is, it's not just one word here and there. It's a whole, the language is built around gender.
Yes.
And social constructs in terms of relationships, my boyfriend jeans. Words matter. This is one of my mantras is like, words mean things.
It really do. They really do.
And they get embedded in your psyche without you even realizing it. I think you make a great point.
Thank you, Suze. And so I'm going to try to look it up, but I did a poll a little bit ago about the term badass.
Oh, yeah. What'd they say?
I was shocked at the results because
they didn't agree
it
with
was more... But yeah, let me see. We have a... Oh, what? Why wouldn't it give me the results? It feels like something that it should definitely...
I have
trouble.
trouble.
Yeah, here we go. Guess. What do you think the percentage is? I pose the question, have you ever used the term badass to describe a dude? What percentage of people said, yeah, why not? And what percentage said, I don't think so?
I guess based on that wording, I would say maybe 50-50.
73% said, yeah, why not?
That they do call men a badass.
Have you ever used that term?
I think that people think they do it
correct.
more than they do.
I think so too.
Because especially when it's like a group thing, for example, like on an Instagram page, like when someone's like you guys are such badasses, they're never talking about a group of men. Ever.
Never. You really have to stop and think of when was the last time and like what, and then I brought this up, I think I brought it up with Courtney, and she was saying like, yeah, it would have kind of like a bad boy, which is exactly what we said, of like that kind of connotation of like, it means, and it would almost be like, yeah, he's younger. It's more like, it's kind of like negative in a way. If like he's a badass.
I really think that this is
it's not
so subtle that people maybe don't even realize what we're saying. Mm. And just like I said in the other episode about how we often say like, she's such a strong woman. We never say that about men because it's implied with men that they're strong.
Gosh.
And when a woman's strong, we have to like actually make an explicit note of it.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize they do it.
I didn't realize. Recently, I was talking about a mail carrier, but just like mail carriers in general, I realized how difficult it is how often I say I use gendered language to describe jobs, and how I can't. It's still firemen. It's still, and especially because my brother's one. So in my head, I see that as like,
yeah,
it's him doing that job. And oh my gosh. And I definitely call him mailman first.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to undo things that have just been a part of your language.
And you'd think growing up watching Rita the Mail Lady, that would not be my instinct.
I don't even know what that is, but it's hilarious.
From Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that.
Rita the Mail Lady.
Shout out to her.
Yeah. It's the woman who played I have no idea what her name is, but she was the head chief of police on Law and Order. One of the Law and Orders is what she became, like actress. Like that was her.
She's really evolved.
Oh, well, I mean,
as an artiste.
Yes. Cowboy Curtis, all those good ones. Classic.
I'll tell you what is badass is wearing Fabletics.
Yes, that is definitely going to make you look like a badass,
but it'll make you have a good ass.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Which is really
it
does. Yeah. It's very flattering. Fabletics clothes are super flattering. They're great activewear. They have pockets for your phone if you're actually working out. I'm really not very much. But they're really high quality, but they're affordable. So Fabletics is like your one-stop shop for all your affordable athletic wear. Even if you're just going to Starbucks, you can wear them. You look cute. And it's cozy time of year, so I'm encouraging everyone to get cozy. I keep saying that to Lincoln. I'm like, it's time to get cozy.
Like, bust out those Uggs and a pair of leggings with one of those oversized loungy sweaters.
Cute. Oh, right, your boyfriend's sweater.
Oh my God, so annoying. I'm never using that term again.
Yes,
so mad.
The clothes are just great, and they have all different looks and really cute sets that you can choose from. And they love you guys and want to give you a deal. So you can get 2 pairs of leggings for only $24. It's a $99 value when you sign up for the VIP program. Be sure to check out our favorite leggings, which mine have the zip up.
Oh, I bought those. You know that
at the ankle. Yeah, they're so cute.
I went out and got them because they're pants.
They call them pants. Yeah.
Right, and you have to search for pants in the search thing, and then you'll get those. And they are the perfect thickness.
They are.
You can wear them as pants.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't even need a sweater that covers your butt or front.
No.
You can just rock those. My favorite.
That's Fabletics.com/braincandy to get 2 pairs of leggings for only $24. Fabletics.com/braincandy. There's no commitment to your purchase to purchase monthly, and there's free shipping on all orders over $49. And just make sure you enter your email address when you take that style quiz, and you'll get exclusive discounts as well. So Fabletics.com/braincandy.
You know.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that. That was really good, Sarah.
Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting, and we just have to think about that language sometimes. And in thinking about that language, and I feel like there was really a theme to this week where these things just kept popping up, or I was just in the mindset to think of them. So, presidential candidate
Kamala
Harris.
Kamala.
I was
Harris.
I'm always how do I say her name? Kamala Harris.
Yes.
So I was watching an interview that she did that.
Oh, I loved it. I saw it.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Yes, good.
I had never thought about this.
Me neither.
It's so important.
We should tell people, though.
Absolutely. Okay, so people are like, what are they
words
even
matter.
talking about?
Example.
So this is all about words, obviously. So she was... I can't remember when how they started talking about it, or how what sparked this discussion in the interview. I'm like trying to, figure out like
the background.
The background. Thank you. But what she said is she's pushing back on the term revenge porn.
Yeah.
And how we should not be calling it revenge porn. And she's working like with some like, I don't know, legal minds in California to try to relabel it. And I think she's making such a good point with all of this. She says that it's not even about sex. It was a crime the way domestic abuse was a crime, she says. She said people do it to torment people. They do it to make money. They call it pornography. To call it pornography is to misunderstand the problem because there's no consent.
Yeah.
And this is the term that she uses. And I am so for it. She calls it cyber exploitation.
Yes.
And she says, and let me tell you how it ruins lives. And I think that is...
So she argued, in addition to it being unfair to call it porn because there's no consent, so it can't be porn, she also talked about the revenge
thing.
Part, because when you use the word revenge, the implication is that you've done something to deserve.
Oh, my God.
Like you've done something.
Yes.
And so
that the person whose pictures are getting blasted up online, has
wronged someone and is therefore deserving in some way.
This is the revenge for whatever they did.
Yeah,
but
breaking up with you or whatever it was.
Correct.
Yeah,
and that's a big problem.
So she pushed back on both words.
Yes,
and I agree with her on both counts.
Yes,
and it's another example of words mean things, and there are implications embedded in the way we say things that have an impact on how you feel about them.
Yes. Oh, gosh. And it's one of those things where it's become so used by the media, that it's now like seeped into, it's really hard to undo these kind of things.
Yeah.
And I think that it's so important to undo it. And like, as somebody who, cares about these words, and when I go and I give speeches and I, do trainings on sexual assault response and talking about safe touch and unsafe touch instead of good and bad touch. I just did it right now. I even know that. I know what I'm supposed to say. I know the message I'm trying to deliver and how I want people to say safe and unsafe, and I still make the mistake of using good and bad.
Yeah, you have to be so intentional.
So intentional.
Yeah.
And what that does to like the victims of cyber exploitation.
Yeah.
It really... Do you know anybody who's...
Well, just people from the show had that, didn't they?
Oh my God, Cara Maria.
Yeah.
But that was almost different. That was her... there was like that whole thing where celebrities...
Hacking.
Yeah, the clouds were hacked.
Right. But I mean, Representative Katie Hill from California.
Oh my gosh. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I don't really know what was going on there.
She identifies as queer, and I believe that she had an open type of marriage where they would introduce other people into their intimate time. And once she became a congresswoman, her marriage fell apart, and she was getting a divorce from this guy, and he got angry. And he released these pictures of her naked.
Oh, my God.
With a girl. And he was the one taking the pictures, so it's not as if he didn't
know.
know.
Oh, my God. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
I'm furious.
Yeah, so she resigned.
No. Oh, I knew that part. And, oh, my God.
And she said that she resigned because not only were these pictures released, but they said if you don't resign, like the people, whoever was messaging her said, if you don't resign, we're going to keep releasing more because they didn't release all of them.
Basically,
so it was like
blackmailing her.
Yeah.
Can you take any kind of, like, is there anything right now where you can, like, prosecute or you can?
I think so. If
there's got to be.
Confirm that the husband is the person that did it, yes.
It's just so sad that she lost.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Well, of course, we don't know the full story, and she was being investigated for... The woman in the picture was her campaign volunteer, which is allowed.
Yeah.
But they also were accusing her of hooking up with someone in her office, which is not allowed.
Right.
And I don't know whether that was true or not. She never addressed that part.
Yeah.
But regardless...
Oh, God, if it were a male, then they would have just, like...
Well, we know because there's so many in office now that are like, I'm staying.
Exactly.
I mean, I wish she would have stayed, but who am I to say? I can't imagine what that felt like.
choice to resign.
Yeah.
And probably got...
Can you imagine how terrible?
No.
So when you were dating, I'm sure you sent pictures to people. I don't know, but I'm just saying that like that's a common thing when you're single.
You know what? I didn't though, because I mean, I recently have. Hey, Ren.
Yeah. Okay. So there are images that exist.
Yes, but before I was really scared because I didn't know who I could trust and not trust, and rightfully so. So I didn't, and I definitely didn't with anybody who was like
fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took a lot to kind of like, and if I you know, like it would be definitely not my face in it, or you know, like I wouldn't.
Did you feel scared?
And no exposed, like everything that I've sent.
It's just suggestive.
I would say like if this were leaked, I would be not, you know.
Yeah, it's not
it's
the
like
end of the world.
A lot of what other people are putting up on their Instagrams and stuff.
Oh my God, it's so true.
It really is
so
like
sanitized.
That. Yeah. But I was very scared of that. More of like it just getting hacked and it like you being able to Google my name and that comes up because like and mostly because of what I do.
Oh my God, right.
Because nobody wants the therapist like that. I mean, that's even why I started a different account on Instagram for my therapy stuff that I haven't really like officially launched yet, but you can check it out. Solution to Sarah. But yeah, because I just felt like even pictures of me like in a bathing suit, I felt kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, I totally am all about people having different sides to them and like being
a sexual
for goodness
identity.
sakes, no joke. Yeah. And also like, and this was just, there was like somebody that I'm friends with who like made me feel kind of like I shouldn't, I should kind of feel bad.
Interesting.
A male guess,
Okay.
that made me feel like, oh, you shouldn't, that you shouldn't do that. And that's like not on brand. So that's kind of where that feeling, I don't know.
Well, we are all for embracing your body as it is or changing it in any way that you feel. As you know, I'm all for that. And a great program that you can use to hold yourself accountable and reach your goals is called Noom. We were talking about this on the last episode too, about how we love the idea of encouraging healthier habits without focusing on, a number on the scale necessarily or whatever. Just make a goal for yourself, and they have experts at Noom that will help you, hold you accountable. There's a community that you can also consult, talk to. And if you want to get better self-worth or be in a better mood, control your anxiety, these are all things that they want to help you with, which I just love. And why not do it before the new year too? Yeah. You don't have to change all in one day. Small steps make big progress. Sign up for your trial today at Noom. It's noom.com/braincandy. And in 10 minutes a day, you might feel better and more empowered. And I love that.
I love that. And I love any community that...
Me too.
I'm like all about that. I mean, not recently, but I feel like especially, I don't know, maybe it's like not being married and kind of needing to lean on a community a little more.
Yeah.
That I've really realized the importance of it, and how maybe before I put too much emphasis, now I'm just talking about me, put too much emphasis on my relationship being like providing me with everything that I needed to feel fulfilled and, whatevs. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's so important to have a tribe.
Yeah, a whole network.
Do you like that term?
No.
Or are you kind of anti?
No, I don't like it.
Yeah, you don't.
But that's just because I have weird hang-ups about, like, white women.
Yeah.
And they tend to use that word.
Yeah.
But that's probably, like, self-loathing. Who knows?
Yeah.
I should talk to the people at Noom about that. No.
Oh, that's funny.
But when I read that article that I mentioned last time about pop culture and how anytime, like, women like something, I thought of myself because when we were talking about the Enneagram, and I was like, are any men into it? There's something in me that rejects something that's totally female, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that. That's like pushing back. That's like the same as when I, was in high school and dyed my hair black and was like, I got to get a tattoo because I don't want to be anything like these Orange County girls who think this is important and this is blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I took it to an extreme because I was pushing back on that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we do kind of tend to do
you know,
that.
everybody has their quirks, so that's just one of mine. But you're right. Tribe, network, whatever you want to call it. Support system.
Yeah.
It's important to be a human and not be alone.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel like that, oh my God, that keeps coming up, that subject of loneliness is like...
That's because everyone's lonely.
Is that... I mean,
Everyone is lonely.
It's almost like everybody's lonely, and then like a month ago, people started talking about how they're lonely. I mean, I don't know if it's just... I don't know. The internet's algorithms are just knowing that this is what I'm talking about, and it's sending me there. But it is
took
like,
a minute for the data to reflect. Like they have to test it, and then it's like there's a lag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's caught up to this idea that like people are lonely.
Yeah.
And I think that it really is the digital connection, feeling so. It's that point. What's the word we can never think of? That oh my gosh, the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Yes. And how that's totally what's going on here. That gets to a certain point where now that becomes everything, and then we're like so disconnected, but so technologically connected.
I watched a documentary on David Crosby, which I totally recommend, called Remember My Name. And he was describing his addiction to cocaine and heroin. And he described the very common thing about how you do it the first time, it's incredible, and then you chase that forever. God. You know, sort of whatever you felt that first time,
right? You
want it again, and you keep hoping it'll happen. Well, shortly thereafter, after I watched that, we had to limit Lincoln's screen time because he was getting too cuckoo about his stupid YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that we cut him off cold turkey, but he's a better boy, and he is engaged.
That's great.
And happier.
That's so good.
Sleeps better because he used to get up and be like itching to get on
This is really important.
YouTube. Yeah.
How you kind of like did your own experiment. How long did it take?
1 day.
What?
1 day.
Oh my God! I need to put down the GD phone at night. This is a problem.
I mean, it was night and day.
Wow,
we went out to dinner last night, and we brought a deck of cards and played poker.
Oh, that's my favorite.
We had such a blast.
And
I know
cards.
he had more fun than if he had been on his computer or, iPad.
Yeah.
But it's hard to break it because it's an addiction in the same way David Crosby was doing heroin. It really is.
No, it absolutely
in your brain.
It 100% is. I was having this conversation with my mom and brother the other day. We were talking about, things that kind of cause that. And, my mom was talking about weight and that. And all of it's the same. Whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's...
In your brain, it is the same.
It is the exact same, and we have to look at it like that. And I can't believe that a lot of things are even, like Fortnite and all that, is even legal to have children, because it's essentially gamble. It's like the same, I put it in the same category as like casinos.
Why?
Because it's a game that's designed to, I think that one you can buy stuff for, right? Like all of them, I'm sure. Yeah. I have no idea. But anything where there's like, I know this playing any game. Like, it's catering to those things in your brain that are going to basically create an addiction. Yes, the reward pathways.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's exactly the neurological reward pathways of the brain.
Yeah,
that is exactly it. It's like, okay, well, you can't allow a child in a casino because they're like too susceptible and they won't be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is for adults. What is the real difference between, is it the winning? Because that's the only thing, is like one comes with a financial payout and one doesn't.
Right. You just get the chemical payout.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that seems like it shouldn't be allowed. And then, in the EU, their companies are not allowed to advertise to children under the age of, I think it's 7 on TV. So like all the commercials that we have that make all of our kids go like, oh my God, I need that, and I have to have this, and I need that sugary cereal. Like, you're not allowed to even do that because they know that this brain is so it's like a sponge. Malleable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's just making me giggle that I'm like, yeah, we had to cut him off of the iPad. And so we played poker instead.
Oh my God. Well, that's, you know what? That, because you're not including all the things that, you're not giving them the reward. It's totally different, but that's hilarious. But also what I want to say about that is you did what a lot of parents aren't willing to do. And you said it right there. You said, we played poker.
Yeah.
We.
Yeah.
As in you engaged with your child at the table.
Yeah.
And so that is what, hey, parents.
Right.
It's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah. Sometimes it's no fun. And, you can always use that stuff when you need it.
Right.
But
I feel like you can get creative, though, and come up with, this is why my mom sent us on scavenger hunts. She was like,
smart.
Yeah, like come up with a task, come up with, and my mom would put the little extra work in where she would hide things, and she's like, we're going on a treasure hunt, and it would take us 3 hours, and she'd be like hanging out with her friend drinking wine, and it would be like 5 minutes of mom putting together a treasure hunt for us, and then the rest of the time we're, she's like kicking back. 5 minutes of work for a ton of payout. This is like life in general.
The worst kind of scavenger hunt, though, is when you go to the grocery store to get stuff for dinner.
Yeah, because then I'm just overwhelmed, and I really could use a list. Thanks, Mom.
Yes, that's why I love HelloFresh.
Oh, me too.
Because you don't have to go to the grocery store. I hate going.
Me too.
You guys know we love HelloFresh. We've been talking about it forever. They made cooking delicious meals at home a reality, even if you're not the most comfortable cook in the world, because they send you the step-by-step recipes. They send you everything right to your door, and everything will be ready in just about 30 minutes. And you can kind of break out of your dinner rut because they always are coming up with new recipes each week. And there's something for everyone, even vegetarian, calorie smart options. And then you can always adjust it too. It's super flexible. So you can add on garlic bread or cookie dough, or you can change your delivery day or the food preferences, skip a week whenever you want. It's just so convenient. This time of year is so busy too, so you might as well get on board now. You can get 9 free meals with HelloFresh by going to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy9 and using our code BrainCandy9, because you're getting 9 free meals with HelloFresh by going to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy9 and using our code BrainCandy9.
So delicious. And then
you've been recreating them.
I do like recreating,
that.
But I also like making them and then taking pictures of them and sending them to Ren to be like, oh, look at this meal I just made.
Chef.
Oh, look. Yeah, look at what you can have too. I definitely did that one night. I was
That's really cute.
Look at this view of the ocean from it, but also this meal that I made. Look at my culinary skills or whatever.
That's nice. You can brag.
Yeah. I try, just trying to win him over with anything I got.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I think I already did it, so we're good. You met him.
I met him.
Tell me everything. The people want to know, what does Susie think? Does he get the stamp of approval?
He's an absolute treasure.
I know.
He is a gem. He's kind. He's funny. He's humble. Mm-hmm. He's good. And he reminds me of Adam because he is a good man.
Yeah.
And in my experience, good men are hard to find.
That is true. I think Flannery O'Connor wrote a whole book about it.
Really?
Well, that's the name of the book. A Good Man is Hard to Find.
It's true.
I don't remember what it's about, but I know I read it in my my English class when I was in undergrad.
I think my favorite thing about him, though, is how he adores you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Values you.
He said it was great to arrive, that I was a little bit late because he felt like he got
quality time.
Yeah. And was able to answer all those questions and
Yeah, I hope
because Susie will be an interviewer.
Yeah, I was worried about that, but he was very tolerant. And
the best.
I try to control
adores
myself.
you guys.
Oh, good.
And he was like, yeah, those pictures that we took, do you think you can get them from Susie? Because I want them. And he wants
so
our photos.
Cute.
He's the cutest.
He's
the
a
best.
really nice person.
Yes.
And I'm trying to
so
be
happy.
very serious right now because I really mean it.
Oh,
he's a wonderful
I just wanted
man.
to get it on record. You heard it here,
yeah.
folks.
And I told Sarah and Ren at dinner that if they break up again, not again, I'm repeating it.
Yes.
That I will cut Sarah right out.
Yeah, because if we were to, I did something.
I said that.
I did something wrong.
About me and Adam. I'm like, if we ever break up.
I stole your line.
It's
basically.
true, though.
You're totally right.
I'm just telling you
fucked it
guys
up.
right now, if we get divorced, it is 100% my fault.
Bren, I will never do anything to do that. So I'll keep it going.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is adorable.
Totally.
Something else that's adorable?
Yes.
Researchers at, where was it? I can't remember where it is.
Yes.
But this study that's now published in the Behavioral Brain Research Journal taught rats to drive tiny cars for Fruit Loops rewards.
I saw this in my DMs. Somebody sent it to us.
Who sent it to you?
A brainiac.
Oh, I love this. My
Yeah.
friend Heather sent this to me a long time ago. Shout out to Heather.
That's so funny.
And she was like, this is adorable.
What's the goal of the study?
So they were looking to see if enriched and complex environments made for better results in their driving skills. So the study looked at two groups. So one group of rats were kept in standard cages.
Yeah.
And one group of rats were kept in these enriched environments that kind of were like puzzles that like challenged them. And it showed that they had to learn how to drive. Like the task was like learning different and new ways to drive and like coordinate this vehicle. Which, have you seen a picture of what this little rat car looks like?
No.
Look, ready. It's adorable.
It's like a full tanker truck.
Right.
With a rat at the wheel.
It's really cute with like the little wheels.
That's adorable.
It is just Richmond, University of Richmond, right there
There we go.
right there.
That's
Now I know.
adorable.
Yes, and it says scientists have reported successful training of rodents to drive tiny cars in exchange for tasty bits of Fruit Loop cereal, and found that learning the task lowered their stress levels. So there were two good outcomes in this. One, that just by learning how to drive and engaging in something that was complex and forced them to kind of do some, I don't know, like it challenged them, that reduced their stress levels. And you know what this made me think of? Why I love doing you got me started on this, love doing crossword puzzles in the challenge house. And we had to do that because that is our stress relief.
Wow.
We had to do something complex and a puzzle to feel less stressed. And we were self-soothing without knowing that we were and why it felt so like, don't you feel like when we would sit down, I even remember one of the questions. What was the first item? A broken one of these was the first item ever sold on eBay.
Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember the answer.
A kazoo.
A broken kazoo.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure that's the answer.
No,
it
is.
It
all rings a bell, yeah.
Yes, but I even remembered the order. I remembered the question because it was like so necessary for me to engage in that kind of activity. Like when I'm stressed, and then I was thinking as I'm reading this and as we were going through this article, and they were talking about how, engaging in something that's really almost like seems stressful for like, it's like controlled stress for a short period of time makes you not as stressed. So then I'm thinking about why I love doing the challenges where it's like controlled environment with fear, and that made me less fearful of things in real life. Mm-hmm. And how this controlled and
how does this apply though? How can we use this information?
So they were saying that people who there were a few different things that like. And this one, I'm not quite sure how it helps, but it says that in looking at like schizophrenia and depression, that they need to look at a lot of different animal models and different types of tasks that look at how behavior changes neurochemistry. So if we can do something that increases dopamine and serotonin levels, that's just through like complex puzzles, and we know that like a change in serotonin is somehow related to schizophrenia. Can we engage somebody who has these early signs of this in these kind of activities, and will it reduce the symptoms? Like if you're treating, or like think if you're at like a residential treatment center and you are it's a bunch of people there who are schizophrenic. And if you engaged them in puzzles or in something that was like a little like required some of this like kind of complex thinking, or provided them with an enriched environment, that you would get a reduction in symptoms that would then cause a like
Why
need
do you
for
think that is though?
Oh, part of me thinks it's that if you don't use it you lose it thing in the brain. of how what we're doing is okay. Now I'm thinking, because this is another article I have to share about ayahuasca and how that's been successful in treating a whole bunch of things. Like now they're able to research it and do all this stuff.
Is it like microdoses or something?
No, this is like full deal. And, but they were showing a picture of the brain and all psychedelics, that what the brain looks like in a EKG or, whatever, I think it's an EKG. It's
MRI.
But what's the one that shows the neurological connectivity?
Okay.
I think it's EKG.
Okay.
Yeah, electrocardiogram or whatever. But the brain is lit up, and it's almost like a million. It's like everything is on fire, and it's like totally active in all areas all at once. Versus normal functioning, where it's just a little bit in little, like it only select areas are lit up. And so I wonder if, and when people do that, people like take psychedelics or do ayahuasca or whatever, they see it as almost like a cure for addiction, for especially like opioid addiction.
Yeah, why? I
think it's a reset button where you're literally firing like every synapse, and then it allows it to. So in that documentary, The Mind Explained, when they were talking about psychedelics, they used the metaphor of like, if there's this default system where like, I feel the need to take an opioid, I'm addicted to that, and that becomes like that pathway, that neurological reward pathway is really embedded, and you've been taking that same path for a long time, that when you do a psychedelic, when you do whatever, it's like a fresh snowfall on all of those paths and allows you to make new connections. So it's like lighting everything up, so then you can start fresh and create your own. And it's almost like wiping out the old pathways that were really embedded.
I'll tell you what I don't like wiping.
What?
My butt.
Oh, my God. I knew you were going to say that, but it was still so fun to get you to say that.
So thanks to Omigo, I don't even have to wipe my butt because their toilet seat goes and cleans off your...
I love it.
Cleans off your beehole. Cleansing jets of water is better than wiping with your gross toilet
100%
paper.
True.
And they don't use any harsh chemicals or anything. And their toilet seats, they can be heated.
Love it.
They have a deodorizer. There can be friggin' lights. It's like one of those Pink Floyd laser shows.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I thought of one of those taxi cabs in Thailand that have all the and you're like, this has everything. I love it.
Never leaving the bathroom.
Yeah.
There's even a wireless remote to give you a hands-free experience. Wow.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
This is the best gift.
No plumber needed either. You just put it right on. It's super easy to install. And they have a new bidet called the Element that starts at just $69.
Yeah,
that's the one. So for better health and hygiene, stop wiping and start washing. Right now, get 10% off your order when you go to myomigo.com/braincandy. Go to myomigo.com/braincandy to get 10% off the toilet seat bidet. Just go there and watch the video for nothing else. It's so fun to see.
And now see, here's if I had somebody that I could give this to right now, this is what I would do. If it were somebody like I lived with, I would, how people set up the under the tree, like when Santa comes and it like looks like Santa's been there. Like I would install it at night and then like wrap the toilet with like a bow on top. Yes. And then you unwrap that.
There you go.
And like I'd like give them a cup of coffee too. Of like, here's coffee. In 30 minutes, you're gonna need your
get a
present.
present.
Yes,
it's really funny.
Oh, you can go with the whole theme. You can give them like a funny mug and
little
then
poopery.
Yes, poop. Oh God, is that not?
Well, I don't have it, but I know you do.
Yes.
And I was thinking, like, I gotta put that on my list with the Barbie
got
shirt.
it. I'll put on this.
I need some poopery up in here.
I got it. And you know what? I always like to buy the gift pack. The freaking best. Also. Little tip.
Yeah.
This is if you are in a restroom that doesn't have poopery, but they happen to have those diffusers, those oil diffusers, reeds, like a lot of restaurants have those, and they got like little bamboo reeds coming out of this. My friend Tana told me this trick, and it totally works. If you take the reeds out, and you put a few drops of the
Are you doing that with
diffuser.
my reed diffuser?
No, I actually didn't even know you had a reed diffuser.
Okay.
I know you have an air freshener in there.
It's in there.
That I know, but
In
I did
your
not
toilet.
see. Right, that is my toilet right there.
It does the same.
It does the same thing because it's like the oil like creates a
Do
layer.
they have unscented poopery, or is it all
No,
flavored?
it's all scented, but you kind of want that.
Do you know? Because I don't want to develop any sort of Pavlovian.
I know this is a real thing. I know this. So I rotate through them so that it doesn't ever do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got like my holiday one. I'm just about to bust that out.
Holiday? What is it?
Yeah, it's
Pine?
real funny. It has like a name that's like I always love the names on them.
They're punny.
They're definitely
I'm
punny.
sure.
Yes, it's like oh my God, I feel like it's an Oh Holy Night reference. Like it's something like that. Like holy crap. I don't know. They definitely didn't put that in there. But it's like they're like
Sarah.
funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I like that.
Why can't they make unscented though? If it's really just like the oil sort of blocking.
Yeah, but like oil, like it's like the essential oils that are in it that I don't know. I have no idea. It's a proprietary blend, as they say. Yes.
All right, that's all.
Yes.
Anyway,
Anywho.
what else you got? Anywho.
Yeah, what else was I going to share with you? We talked about the rats. Oh, I wanted to follow up on a little thing that you said before about what the purpose is. And
Yes.
so one of the researchers said that one of the things that this experiment showed is how important it is for us to have a enhanced or well-developed sense of agency or self-efficacy. And like this idea that we can make a difference, and this idea that, and you know, you roll your eyes.
No,
you're not rolling your eyes.
No, I'm saying like, yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
That really is it. And
because I've felt the opposite lately, just so jaded, I would say.
And this is, I think it's a feeling that's more familiar for women, but is becoming more familiar for men. And I think that feeling of self-efficacy and not feeling like you have the ability to make changes or to be in control of your life might be like, I kind of feel like our addiction to technology and all that creates this feeling of a lack of self-efficacy. And I'm not really sure how, but I feel like I'm seeing like it almost seems like, you know, that group that you love to hate, the like young white males who are seriously entitled and all that deep down is this feeling and like this anger about not having self-efficacy or agency and needing to push back to get it. And like so many groups are so used to it. So what do you think?
I have met so many guys recently or spoken to so many guys lately who are experiencing for the first time in their life what it's like to not get the job.
Okay, that's what I think this is.
Or get clapped for. They're getting that first, even just tiny, tiny little glimpse of what it might be like to be a minority or a woman. And they don't like it.
Right.
And I think a lot of men voted for Trump because of that feeling. Because it's the saying of
keep it.
That when you are the person in power, that equality can feel like oppression.
When you're the person, oh God!
So what they're experiencing, and this goes for Christians in the U.S. who are still in the majority, but not as much as they were 20 years ago.
Right.
And so just getting closer to equality makes them feel like they're being oppressed when they are not. Wow. And I think that is what you're noticing too.
I think so. I think that's it. And so and then I think that the school system we have, the way that we're taught, all of this stuff kind of plays into, I don't know, it's not encouraging these stimulating environment. It's like you have to learn, and you have to learn like this, and you have to learn in this way, and then it's like it's messy.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to start to see we already are seeing like I think that's what plays into this like loneliness thing that.
Well, and the more successful
sad. I thought this was going to be a cute story about rats driving cars, and then it turns into just like, everything's depressing.
The more success that I've experienced in my life, the more jaded I become and cynical, because I realize and I'm becoming more aware of how money is the thing.
Ugh.
It is the thing. Like the whole world is based on the idea of everything can be bought.
Yeah. And even the people I know that are like one person in particular I'm thinking of that's like super anti all that. And there was still of like kind of like judgmental towards everybody else's, like the ways people were conforming to like societal norms.
Yeah.
Yet they would push back on every other way to conform.
Okay.
But was like all in on, I got to be a hustler and make money and be an entrepreneur and like, you know.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I just needed to know who that was.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying this person was like rejecting a lot of the stuff.
Like social construct, like societal norms.
Yeah.
Like you know,
you should fight against this and that.
Right. If you're a woman, you've got to like follow these beauty, like this is like
fall
perceived.
For like.
Yes. Don't fall for what everybody else says is the ticket to happiness. Yes.
Yeah.
What's important, all that. But was like, also like make a bunch of money because, and I pushed back on that and I was like, how can you say that
I think that's a gender thing too.
I know it is.
Because to want to look beautiful is more of a female thing, whereas to want to get more money tends to be a masculine trait.
Right. And then this person was like, well, I need that, like, in order to be successful, and in order, like, that's like, what are we saying? Like, that is like how everybody perceives your success.
Is beauty.
That was my argument. That what is a female's what's the word I'm looking for? Like her means of like
value?
Yes, yeah. Like what's the value tied? Yes. A woman's value is tied to her beauty and a man's value is tied to his income. And we can fight that all we want. We can say it's absolutely wrong. We can't
pretend like it's not true.
Correct. But we cannot pretend that. And obviously, if you're saying, I got to go out there and like make money and like start a business and be successful and isn't it fair to think that I have to think,
I need to look good.
I gotta look good. I gotta do my hair this way. I gotta do my makeup this way. Gotta make sure my clothes look good.
People tend to have blinders on when it's their thing.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I just feel like that's like an important thing to kind of look at and notice in someone who's chastising you for whatever you're doing. Just be like, maybe they just don't see the ways that they're the same. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to push back with anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to do.
And you're so good at recognizing when it's like a male thing versus a female.
Because everything is.
Everything
I know
is.
it's not my day, but I do have one thing I wanted to say that I thought was funny that I saw the other day. Let me see if I can find it on here. Have you ever heard of something called... I don't mean to hijack.
No, no, I don't. Every time you bring something up, it reminds me of 50 other things that I'm like, no, it's good. Because I was like, and then I want to talk about this and that. Keep going.
Okay.
I love it.
Have you ever heard of something called Paris syndrome? Paris syndrome.
No.
It is a real thing, apparently.
Paris syndrome?
It is a condition exhibited by some individuals when visiting or going on vacation to Paris as a result of extreme shock at discovering that Paris is different from their expectations.
Oh, okay.
The syndrome is characterized by a number of psychiatric symptoms, including delusional states, hallucinations, feeling of persecution, derealization, depersonalization, anxiety, and psychosomatic manifestations like dizziness, sweating, and vomiting.
I get this. I mean, I don't physically get this, but I understand what they're saying.
Why?
Because this is almost like reverse culture shock, or like or not reverse, but it's like culture shock.
Why?
I think what happens is there's this...
Oh my God, you're crazy. This is so funny.
What?
This condition is commonly viewed as a severe form of culture shock.
Yeah.
What the fuck is culture shock, though? I mean...
this is a real thing.
But in terms of, like, physical...
So you go to another country with these... And we started this episode saying expectations give birth to disappointment. So... You have an expectation of what Paris is going to be like, or any country is going to be like, based on how it's portrayed in the media, based on, whatever. You've kind of romanticized it.
Okay.
And anytime we go into a situation where we have expectations that are one thing, and then they're so different, it's cognitive dissonance. Mm-hmm. And that creates a physiological response of, like, your brain, like, tries to make sense of it, and when it can't, that feeling creates like that sweaty, like kind of almost like you're panicking. And then this is like the labeling thing where we talked about a few episodes ago about when you experience fear or anxiety or whatever, there's a physiological symptom, and then we start labeling that physiological symptom. So now they're like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm in another country. It's like, and it's that, especially like fish out of water. I'm feeling this, and it is so different than what their expected feeling is. So it probably is even more heightened. And culture shock, it's a real thing. I don't ever have culture shock, but I do have reverse culture shock, which is totally a thing, where you spent time internationally and then you come back home and you're like, fucking, we do everything wrong. This is wrong. This isn't how I like you almost... You've seen how it is, and it's like, ugh, the same old.
I feel like if
my mom said that all the time.
Yeah, I get that. I can relate to that a little more. But if you are disappointed by Paris and you're like vomiting because of the Eiffel Tower, you should probably like do some meditating.
I think people don't even realize, like,
good.
So
gravy.
They go in and this is, oh gosh. Okay. So this is how the results, like if you're reporting the results, that's the article you write. But if you're the person experiencing that, what that looks like is, it's not just like, oh, I got sick there. That could be part of it. But you think about the people who maybe have never traveled a lot or definitely haven't been outside their comfort zone.
Yeah,
They go to Paris.
I get that.
And on their trip there, they come back and they're like, it was just awful. She got the worst jet lag. She got so sick. We had to spend the first 2 days in the hotel room because she was having, stomach issues, and it was so blah, blah, blah. It must be from traveling. We kind of label it all these other things where, she must have ate food at a restaurant that wasn't good or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But it could be.
But what it could be, and I know this firsthand. So when I was 13 years old, I went on a trip with my aunt who worked for or owned her own company where she was a manufacturer of goods that was sold at like TJ Maxx and Home Goods and Pottery Barn and those kind of places. And she would manufacture these goods, and we should go on trips to China and India and like go visit the factories to make sure everything was like in production, doing a good job. And I was coming with her, and we were scheduled to go to India. And when I was in second grade, I was a victim of sexual assault, and the perpetrator was a man who was of an Indian descent. And I had not properly processed all that yet. But I knew that, and I since have, and like worked through all of this. But I was very triggered when I was younger by men who looked like that because it reminded me of being in that same place. Mm-hmm. And we went on the trip, and first we went to China, and I was okay. And then right before we were going to go to India, I got so sick. And they said it was a reaction to my malaria medication of like, there's no way she could be. I had a crazy fever. Every time I stood up, I would like pass out. Like I was so sick that I could not go. I had to fly home. And they were like, wanted to quarantine me. They were like, she's got something. Like I am 99% sure that it was psychosomatic and my fear of being in a country surrounded by people who looked like the person who abused me. Mm-hmm. And I had psyched myself, and I knew it going in. Like, I remember having some awareness, but not like full, you know, and looking back at that, I think that I made myself sick because I couldn't handle what was coming.
Wow.
So
goodness.
in thinking about that, I can understand how somebody just being in an uncomfortable and unusual environment, like people who are like not good at traveling, they're like, oh, I get a traveler's stomach. Like, that's, you're anxious when you travel. Like, traveling causes anxiety, and anxiety, how it manifests in you is an upset stomach, gastrointestinal problems. Mm-hmm. It's not that traveling causes, it's not a travel stomach. It's your relationship with traveling and your experience that then causes the upset stomach. A bunch of people, I've never had, I could travel anywhere. I don't have like travel stomach, you know? But I think it's like what we label it in our mind. So I think these things are happening more often than people think. But if you just kind of look at the research and zoom out on everything, we're able to see, oh, the anxiety from it not matching what your expectations are creates a physiological response that looks like A, B, C, and D. But when you add all the emotions and all the details and all everything in there, it, you know, we are used to those stories. But
wow,
yeah, that was long-winded for.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
what you described, and I agree with you that probably a lot of people who say, "Oh, I have travel sickness," really just have this anxiety or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're just disappointed about Paris.
And I think that's just the name because that maybe.
They have other ones like Jerusalem syndrome.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the one that comes to my mind is Italy.
Yeah.
And how, like, I just think of all those there. I dated this guy once whose family was like never traveled, but like Italian, but like New York Italian, where they're like they've never left.
Like Kenny Santucci.
Yes,
yeah,
and they would call it Italy, and they're like, we're going to go to Italy, and I don't know why they're from the South in this. They're definitely not, but it was like Italy, and the mom had her purse stolen, like she was a victim of pickpocketing.
Oh my God.
And it was, I know that they're the kind of people who like have just thought it was going to be like The Godfather and had like planned this whole trip, and they thought it was just going to be like that.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Okay, maybe I miss, what's the word? I don't know. I underestimate how much people think about this stuff before they go.
Yes.
Because I'm not doing
and also,
that.
we were in this weird situation where we were sent all over the world to these places that before we even... Like, think about what your life would be like if you had never gone on the challenge and you maybe didn't get the opportunity to travel internationally, but it was something you, like, romanticized and you, like, created this whole image on what it was going to be like.
Yeah, but
I mean,
then it's
based
like
on
everyone's the same everywhere, and then you're sad.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, it's still the little tchotchke, like, station set up that looks just like Disneyland, and they're, like, still, it's even the same people that are working them.
Right.
It, like, you just looks like you just picked them up and put them in front of the Coliseum. You could pick them up and you could put them in front of the Eiffel Tower. It's the same kiosk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And and so I get that feeling when I visit a place more than once. When I go back and it's like, I went to this wonderful island in Puerto Rico called Vieques, and I went there 3 times, and it totally lost its, like,
mystique.
Yes. And when I remember going there, and it was like 4 years later from the first time I went, and we went to the same hotel, and they had all the same pillows, all the same, like, they're outdoor pillows. And I was like,
Oh my God.
To me, they were like old and
gross.
Well,
this is why it sounds silly, but when I went to Olive Garden, I'm like, did I change or did Olive Garden change?
Yeah, no,
it's
I
like
know.
That.
Yeah. I was like, But it was more, it was like, I've changed, but they haven't.
Right.
And then I'm like, this is not, that's a problem. You could have just, and it made me feel like it wasn't as sparkly and new, and it was like old and used, and and this was a nice hotel.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sarah saw behind the curtain.
I did. That's totally it. So some people see behind the curtain and they're okay with it.
Yeah.
And some people see behind the curtain
and they
have a full
hallucination.
Yes. I can see that. You're almost like it's that your mind has created a reality that this is what we always talk about, that's the most painful thing to undo.
Yeah.
When you go through a breakup, whatever, when you
have to
it's like
a death.
Undo. Yeah, you've got to grieve the loss of
your idea.
This is it. Because if you were to put all those things through the stages of grief, where you've got denial, that's like, we're disassociating.
Right.
They're going through the stages of grief.
Right.
They're grieving the trip that they thought they were going to have.
Boy.
Well,
you know what? The answer is just to keep your expectations low.
Always. Low expectations.
You'll live a happy life.
Yes, this is true.
I'm keeping my expectations high, though, about people leaving a 5-star review.
Absolutely.
So make sure I don't get
Well, you know what?
iTunes
I'll keep my expectations
syndrome.
low, and then you do it, and then I'll be super happy. And then, tweet at me that you did.
And I'll get iTunes syndrome, and I'll start vomiting if you leave us a bad one.
Get out. I've seen some recent ones. They're great.
All right, everybody. Keep up the good work. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.